Hello, good morning. It is Morning Coffee with Steve, episode 233 for Monday, December, 9th, 2024. I'm Steve Saylor. This is your daily show of gaming news, accessibility news, or updates about my life. I have, again, the caramel latte from McDonald's today. When I like a certain type of thing, I generally especially for food, I'll order it a bunch of times, not necessarily until I'm sick of it, but I just enjoy it. So I decided to order another McDonald's caramel latte, and it tastes good. I like it. It has the creaminess for coffee, which I like, and it's a latte, but it also has just enough of a hint of caramel that it doesn't feel like it's too sweet. And it doesn't feel like there's not enough, so it's great. Anywho, hope your weekend was good. My weekend was it was all Indiana Jones, pretty much. I did have a fun Friday night thing that I can talk about. This week there's a lot of today. There's quite a bit of news, but let me this update's about my life. Let me kind of just sort of recap a little bit of what happened. So, because I encourage you to be able to find this too. So I have a creative group that I've been a part of for, I think, about quite a while. I want to say like almost 10 years now at this point. I can't even remember. I think we had like an anniversary or something like that, and I just blanked it on my head. But every month we get together to basically be accountable for our creative projects, accountable to each other. We recap what we've been through, what has happened throughout the month, and we kind of talk about, did we meet our goals for the 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, sometimes a whole year. And we do this once a month, every first Monday of the month. And but one thing we started a couple years ago, at first it kind of felt like, wait, why are we doing this? But then it started becoming a Christmas tradition. So the beginning of December every year, for the past couple years, every Friday, or the first Friday of December usually, we go over to my friend Drekken's house, or apartment I should say, and then we're all dressed up. Well, dressed up is in winter clothes, because usually winter time. It's Toronto, December, of course. My friend Drekken puts on a Christmas hat. He has a Bluetooth speaker, and he has a bag of candy canes. And we play Christmas music as we walk to a Christmas tree lot that's about 2 kilometers away from his apartment. And this is where Drekken goes to buy his tree, his Christmas tree that he has every year, or for December for Christmas. We go and he goes and picks out the tree, and then we help him carry it back to his apartment. At first, when we first did it, we're like, wait, why are we doing this chore for him? But then it sort of become a Christmas tradition where because we play Christmas music on a loud Bluetooth speaker, and we're walking in public with a Christmas tree, and we're handing out candy canes to people. And we just have a great time. It's always puts me in the Christmas spirit every single time. And then we get back to his place. He sets up the tree. He doesn't decorate it. He just sets it up in the living room. We have kind of like finger foods. We chat for a while. We have mulled wine, or any alcoholic beverage we kind of want that's sort of Christmassy themed. And then we watch my friend Drekken and Casey. They battle head to head in Just Dance. Sounds like the most weird and random event, night, but it is tradition. It is what we do, and it is one of the most fun things I do every December. And like I said, it just immediately gets you in the Christmas spirit. Now, granted, not all of it was great for me personally. Unfortunately, because it had been snowed in Toronto, I decided to break out my winter boots. I think I need to get new winter boots, because these are the first time I tried on, and I probably should have thought about it for a second, but basically knowing that we were going to be walking. Probably breaking in my winter boots at that time is probably not the best idea, because it basically gave me blisters on both my ankles. it was rough. Like yeah, it broke skin, and unfortunately, it slowed me down. So basically, there'd be times where my friends would walk forward, and then they have to stop for a minute just to wait for me to catch up, because I'm just walking so slow, because I'm literally just trying to be able to I'm shuffling my feet, just trying not to be able to lift up my feet, because it felt like it was digging up into if you're watching the video of this, this is my hand is my ankle, and it felt like it was my boot was kind of scraping up every time I stepped up, or I lifted my foot and put it down. So yeah, that was not fun. So I'm hoping that it will be healed by, or the blisters will be healed by this Friday, because I'm going to Disneyland, baby. I'm going to Disneyland for my birthday, because it is my birthday week. Anywho, but like I said, the majority of this weekend was all Indiana Jones. I was playing Indiana Jones, still playing it, still finishing up the game. I'm about 25 gaming hours in. This is not how long it takes to be able to beat the game, by the way. I'm just spent 25 hours, because I looked it up and I'm like, I wonder how long I've been playing this for. And it said it was by that point I checked, it was 1 day, 1 hour. And I was like, oh, it's a lot more than I thought. I'm just having so much fun. And then I also decided to watch the Indiana Jones movies. I haven't watched the third one yet, because I always like watching. I'm doing the trilogy. I'm doing the main trilogy. I haven't got to the third one yet, but I watched Raiders of the Lost Ark and Temple of Doom. I've never actually seen Temple of Doom before. I agree with a lot of people. It's definitely not the best Indiana Jones movie. However, I didn't think that Willie and Short Round were as annoying as people said they were. They were fine. Short Round was a lot more tolerable than Willie. Willie screamed a lot. Short Round, I liked a lot. He was fine. He was great throughout the whole entire thing. I didn't think he was annoying at all. I don't know. It was one of those, I could take it or leave it. And it made sort of Indiana Jones a lot more, he was in it for the money. Fame and glory. That's what that, that, what was it? Fame and glory? Fortune and glory? Fortune and glory. That's what they said in the movie. And I was like, really? That doesn't seem like Indiana Jones to me. But granted, it was a prequel, so it was before all that. Anywho, I think I'll still stand by that. Last Crusade is probably my favorite of the Indiana Jones movies, and I'm looking forward to watching that maybe tonight. But yeah, I'm just enjoying the Indiana Jones. Have you been playing Indiana Jones now that it's out on Game Pass? Let me know what you think in the comments below. All right, let us jump into this first news story. Is so weird and random. It already came and went basically by the time that I'm recording this, but there was a very weird story. So this is coming from written up on VGC. By the way, everything that I'm saying, there's no update on this article, but it has been fixed. Just letting you know. But it's just so funny about this. The entire itch.io site has reportedly been taken down by Funko. Yes, you heard me right. The entire itch.io site has been reportedly taken down by Funko. Yes, those little tiny toys, Funko Pops that you enjoy and love so much, they had taken down the biggest indie gaming platform in the industry. Why? Well, I'll tell you. According to a thread posted on itch.io's official Twitter account, itch.io says the whole site has been taken down by what it calls a bogus phishing report. It alleges that Funko was using brand protection software, which it claims used AI to flag a disputed page, and filed a bogus report with itch.io's domain registrar. It then claims that the registrar brought down the entire site instead of checking to make sure itch.io had taken down the page in question. I kid you not, itch.io has been taken down by Funko because they use some trash, quote unquote, AI-powered brand protection software called Brand Shield that created some bogus phishing report to our registrar, I Want My Name, who ignored our response and just disabled the domain, it claims. Also, for transparency, we did take the disputed page down as soon as we got the notice because it's not worth fighting and stuff like that. Regardless, our registrar's automated system likely kicked in to disable the domain since no one read our confirmation of removal. Itch.io has confirmed to a user on Twitter that the site servers are still there until the issue is resolved. However, the site and its games will be completely down. The longer the site remains down, the more of a problem this will become for the creators of the more than 1 million indie creative products, including indie games, RPGs, comics, and music that were being sold and distributed via itch.io. Also, my game Pistols and Powers is on itch.io as well. So I am very much invested in this. Although the downtime means developers will no longer be able to sell or distribute their products, the DRM-free nature of the download means anyone who already bought and installed indie games from itch.io will be able to continue using them without issue. So there has been an update. Itch.io is back. It has been fixed, but it's just so funny and random that basically over the course of a few hours, like the reason why I brought it up for this show is because I looked at when I wake up, I look at Blue Sky in the morning, just as you do, to catch up on everything, and everyone was saying "fuck Funko Pops." I'm like, what did Funko do? What did the little toy things do? And no, it was it was just like some stupid AI. Again, AI can be good, AI can be bad, and sometimes AI can be super bad. And this is one of those issues, because it's like when you have an automated system that just automatically takes down a domain without bother to checking it first, which apparently they tried to, but then they just ignored the response email being saying like, hey, it's taken down, we're fine. Nope, they just took down the domain name anyway. And I find it funny. I find it kind of funny. I find it kind of sad. Anywho, it's just so hilarious to me. Like, and this also kind of goes to show like how two things. What I loved what VGC had said here at the bottom is that because because H.io games are DRM free, you could still be able to play the games as you purchase them, even with the website taken down. When you don't have a game that's reliant on its publisher or its studio necessarily to be online all the time, having DRM free content means that it's like if you purchased it and you download it, it's yours. You're not beholden to anything else beyond that. It is yours to use as you feel you want to, other than selling it on your own, which is illegal. But that's one of the things that, again, why itch.io is kind of well revered, is that anybody can create a game, anybody can create a comic, anybody can create an RPG, and you can be able to put it up on there and sell it, and people will enjoy it. Now, granted, this also does potentially open up for, and like if anyone can be able to create an account, and anyone who wants to be able to create a game or something that has copyrighted material in it, that obviously goes into what's the word I'm looking for? It has the bigger chances of getting taken down because of copyright material, and that's more likely what happened in Funko's case, because they were like, oh, let's use this site to be able to kind of crawl the internet, make sure that none of our stuff is because they have to protect the IP. It's nothing really necessarily to do with Funko themselves. The bad decision that they made was signing up for this AI powered site that they trusted, and this AI powered site is just had kind of blanket sort of permissions to do whatever, and report a phishing scam, or report anything as a phishing scam, and that's what happened. So I don't think that Funko is nefarious in this, but they just they got caught up with, which would happen. Which honestly, it happens a lot. You'd be surprised at how much corporate stuff gets, they get stuff pitched to them all the time, and they have there's companies that have professional salespeople that they go in and they do these presentations and they give all these numbers about how it improves improves X amount of things to be able to save you X amount of dollars or Y amount of dollars, or can make you Z amount of dollars, that kind of thing. And corporate's like, yep, I like that, let's do it. But they don't bother to check, is it a reputable company? What is powering that technology that they're going to be using? They just sign the dotted line because it saves them money, and then it's up to their employees basically to figure it out. I've had that happen to me several times when I was working in radio, that they were just like higher ups, like at some point they did bring me in on some of these pitch meetings to make sure that everything technical wise in the site would still run, and I was able to at least look it over and give my opinion on it regardless. But sometimes this is what I bet would happen. Someone who pitched this brand shield thing to higher up, they said, yep, this sounds good, without bothering to check to see how it's powered, what's the technology is run. It was implemented, and then this is what happens. And I can guarantee that probably whoever signed off on that deal at Funko is going to be like, uh-oh. But so I don't think this is it. I don't think this is Funko's, like, they're not nefarious. They're not going after itch.io. They're and that's another thing too. So the second thing was, they have to protect every copyright holder has to protect their IP, and oftentimes, in order to be able to do that, they generally would have to do a cease and desist or sue anyone who tries to be able to break that copyright. And Funko has a fiduciary and a legal responsibility to protect that IP. They have invested a massive amount of money into the Funko brand, and they need to make sure that that is protected. And it means that they would have to do things that in order to be able to protect that brand, because there's so many different, like, no one can be able to know everything about the internet. And more than likely what was happening was that somebody was seeing a whole bunch of Funko stuff being put up online or whatever, or somewhat that sounded somewhat fishy and sounded somewhat that people were making money off of it. And Funko, in order to be able to fiduciary and legally protect their own IP, they have to go after basically people who are breaking the law. And this is probably what happened. They probably were, and I'll probably even guarantee this probably was maybe part of the pitch deck that this company Brand Shield kind of gave them. It's like, hey, look, these are all these things that basically are stealing your IP. This is how you can be able to do it and make it a little bit like you can basically crawl the internet and it'll do it all for you. And that's the problem, is that, again, it's AI that could be just dumb and just not know what to do, and it sort of it's a recurring loop on itself and kind of gets confused. And this is what happens, where basically the entire site goes down for hours, and that essentially are like as big as this. And this is what happens. So again, it's not Funko's fault, but it is their responsibility. They screwed up. Like, it's not, what's the phrase I'm basically trying to go? It's Funko didn't do this on purpose, but it is their responsibility. It is still their fault. That's what I was going for. Anywho, let's jump into some quick news for folks. Basically, we've got Fortnite finally getting official first-person mode, but it's not Battle Royale. This is coming from Phil Owen at GameSpot. Fortnite Chapter 6 is adding so many new modes, including the FPS Deathmatch mode, Fortnite Ballistic. After years of rumors, Fortnite's long-awaited first-person mode will finally debut in a few days with the launch of Fortnite Ballistic on December 11th. Fortnite Ballistic is not a Battle Royale mode, but rather a 5v5 Counter-Strike-esque round-based shooter in which one team will attempt to set off a Rift Point device bomb while the other team will try to dismantle it. In Fortnite Ballistic, there aren't any respawns. The round ends when an entire team is eliminated or the Rift Point device is disarmed or exploded. It's basically kind of like Valorant 2. You'll start each round with a pistol and some credits. You'll use the credits to buy guns between rounds, where each player also chooses a gadget like bubble shields and proximity mines. If you survive a round, you can keep your stuff, and if you die, you have to buy new items. Basically, this is Valorant. Be warned that if you win a round by detonating the Rift Point device, you might still die in the explosion, which is going to be an interesting wrinkle for teams who have to defend the arm bomb from a team that wants to dismantle it. The first team to win 7 rounds takes the whole match. In its announcement for the mode, Epic describes Ballistic as being early access rather than a fully featured new mode that tracks with the fact that Ballistic will have just a single map at launch, the city-based Skyline 10. Fortnite Ballistic will arrive with both ranked and unranked varieties. In ranked, the game will not backfill your team with new players if your allies leave, but if your game crashes or disconnects, you actually have a 3-minute grace period to get back in, something Fortnite has never allowed in an official mode before. And yes, there are lever penalties in ranked ballistic. There are lever penalties in ranked ballistic, including a short matchmaking ban. Despite being a first-person mode, Fortnite Ballistic will support most of Fortnite's cosmetics, including skins and emotes. So I saw the trailer of this I think yesterday, and I wasn't too sure what the heck what it was. I just I knew it was going to be a new mode, but I didn't know what Fortnite Ballistic was going to be until literally just reading this now. So and I think they said that Fortnite is still going to get a first-person mode at some point. But this is sort of like that first step into it, and I'd be interested to see what this is going to do to the first-person shooter, kind of like I don't know what they call it, the kind of Counter-Strike like sort of shooter. When you have stuff like Counter-Strike, you have Valorant, and also it kind of has a little bit of a Tales of Osiris in there too. Well, I mean, it from Destiny, but it was more like Trials of Osiris, that's what I was looking for. But instead of the defusing a bomb, it's basically just eliminate as many people before you get killed. So it's been repeated. So all this has been repeatable on other games. So be very curious to see how Fortnite does with this, because if you remember, Fortnite technically started becoming popular once they kind of like ripped off the H1Z1 like battle royale mode, and they decided, let's make our own. That's how we got Fortnite today. So Fortnite is very good at taking things that have been a part of things for a while and just make it their own, and it becomes popular. So there. Be very curious to see what Fortnite Ballistic will turn out to be. Also as well, speaking kind of like sort of arena shooters type thing, we've got Chris Scullion over at VGC saying Marvel Rivals gets 10 million players in its first 3 days. The news was announced on the game's official Twitter account, where NetEase thanked players for reaching the 10 million milestone in just 72 hours. Marvel Rivals is a free-to-play 6v6 team-based shooter, which is played from a third-person perspective. NetEase promised that all characters at launch and beyond will be free, with monetization coming from battle passes and premium skins. That's wow. 10 million players in 72 hours. I tried jumping into Marvel Rivals, not this weekend, but I tried jumping into it before in early access. Not really my cup of tea. And I think it's only just because of Overwatch. I never really got into it. Now, granted, these are Marvel characters, so there are characters that I know and that I recognize. So be very curious. Like, I might jump in at some point. But I'm always very late to these kind of things. Like, I don't jump in on like super right away. So I don't know whether it's going to be my thing, but also I am afraid of, is it going to be like super addictive to me? I have no idea. Sometimes that happens, and I'm afraid that it will. But anyway, congrats on Marvel Rivals for getting 10 million players already within the first 3 days of playing. Hopefully you get even more success. Speaking of other success, this is coming from IGN by Wesley and Poole. Path of Exile 2 enjoys massive launch, becomes 15th most played game ever on Steam. Path of Exile, I can't talk today. Path of Exile 2 looks like a smash hit for developing grinder gear games, with over 500,000 concurrent players on Steam alone. Path of Exile 2 is GGG's action role-playing sequel set years after the original game. Players return to the world of Rayclast and seek to end a spreading corruption with 6 character classes, each with 2 ascendancy classes, available to play at the launch of early access. There's co-op for up to 6 players, but you can play solo. It launched across PC via Steam, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X and S on December 6th, and immediately ran into server issues that prevented players from logging in. GGG has warned players that the Path of Exile 2 might struggle with the influx of players at launch, and so it proved. But once over the course of Friday and into the weekend, the New Zealand developer began to get on top of the problems, and its concurrent player count on Steam shot up. Concurrent players peaked on Valve's platform at a huge 578,569 players, which put Path of Exile 2 straight into Steam's top 5 most played games. In terms of all-time peak concurrence on Valve's platform, Path of Exile 2 is in 15th place, ahead of the likes of Valheim, Call of Duty, and Terraria. Microsoft and Sony do not make Xbox and PlayStation player numbers public, so Path of Exile 2's true concurrent player peak will be even higher, potentially hitting that million mark GGG had flagged would perhaps cause problems. Path of Exile 2 has a very positive user review on Steam, with 82% of the 26,800 reviews flagged as positive. It's also the top-selling game on Steam by revenue, ahead of NetEase's superhero PvP shooter Marvel Rivals. Yeah, IGN gave it an 8 out of 10. They said Path of Exile's 2 redefined action and surprisingly fleshed out endgame have gotten the sequel off to an exciting start, even if it's predictably rocky early access state. Now, for those who may not have played Path of Exile 1 or 2, it's very much kind of like a Diablo type game, if you've ever played that. But they've been working on Path of Exile 2 for, I think I've heard about like 10 years. And the one thing that like always comes up like is the thing that I kind of recognizes, oh, this Path of Exile is if you look at the skill tree, it's not a skill tree. I heard a joke about like a TikTok of someone who playing it and saw the skill tree for the first time, and it's like, this is not a tree, this is a forest. Which I'm like, yeah, I get it. So there's a lot of upgradability on that. There's a lot of playability on Path of Exile 2. So hey, congrats to GGG, you did it. 15th most played game ever on Steam for launch. That's pretty huge. And the fact that it's got, actually, let's take a look at the stats now. I'm gonna pull up. Yeah, I'm gonna pull up. Let's see. Path of Exile 2 Steam. I'm just gonna see what the current numbers are right now. Charts. So currently it has 332,397 players. And yeah, all-time peak is 579. It's 578, 569. When did that actually hit? Onto yesterday at 1900 UTC. I don't know what that is. Time-wise. Anyway, wow. And then let's see, Twitch stats, 248,000 viewers right now. All 24-hour peak is 379,000. Wow, that's pretty good. That's pretty great. That's awesome. I probably won't be able to play it because I looked at it and it just seemed like it just didn't have enough accessibility for me to be able to play. So I'm probably not going to touch it, but it's, hey, again, congrats to Path of Exile 2. So awesome. Okay, I think that's kind of where I'm going to leave it today for this episode. I will be back again tomorrow for one more episode for this week. I know it's a short week for me. 2 episodes for the week is all I can be able to do, because Wednesday I fly out for LA for the Game Awards, and then the Game Awards is happening on the Thursday, and then my birthday's on Friday, so I will have one more episode with you all. I might try to maybe do like maybe a fill-in episode at some point, but maybe as an audio only. I don't know. If you want the audio only, you can be able to go to patreon.com/SteveSaylor and become a Patreon member there, and you can be able to get this as an audio podcast directly to your podcast player of choice. Other than that, that's pretty much it for today. Thank you so much for watching and or listening, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.